Alright, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening again to all of you. No, we'll discuss today one of the topics also in your financial management, which is also very important now, particularly about the dividend policy. No, why do we need to have dividend policy, particularly in your financial management? So it is also part of your financial accounting, di ba? Alright. So ano ba class ang ibig sabihin ng dividend policy? Okay. So, introduction first, no? 'Di ba class, pag sinabing dividends, it is a corporate earnings distributed to stockholders, okay? It is known as dividends. It can also be paid in either cash or stocks, right? So typically it is to be issued in a quarterly, monthly, or annually, no? Go back to your accounting, no? If you have enough retained earnings, uh, you can declare dividends. Okay? They may be paid only out of retained earnings and not based on your invested capital, not in your common stocks. No? So, ibig sabihin, very important here is you should have your retained earnings. In general, no, the more stable the company's earnings, the more regular its issue of dividends. Again, the more stable is your company's earning, dapat you also regular din yung ating pagbibigay ng ating dividends. Okay. So, meaning to say, no, as part of your dividends, it is important for the following reasons. But kailangan pa natin ng dividends? Number one, it bears upon the investor's attitudes. Yes, very important here. It bears upon the investor's attitudes. It impacts also the financing program and also the capital budget of the firm. Okay? So, meaning to say, if you have financing program and we have capital project, diba? Of course, depende yan based on your priority. It will also affect your firm cash flow position. Siyempre, pag tayo ay nagbayad ng cash, particularly for your cash flow, for your dividends, siyempre, it will affect your cash flows. And the last one, it will lowers your stockholders' equity. No? Since dividends are paid out from the retained earnings. Babawas yung ating stockholders' equity. Okay? And will results in a high to debt to equity ratio. Bakit? Kasi class, magbabawas tayo ng ating equity. Alright. So meaning to say, no, as part also of your dividends, very important are the relevant dates, no, that are associated with your dividends, no. So by the way, if a company's cash flow and investment requirements are volatile, the company should not establish a regular high dividends. It would be better to establish a low regular dividend that can be met even in the years of poor earnings. Meaning to say, when volatile, no, or pabago-bago ang ating cash flows and investment. O for example, next year tumaas lang yung benta mo, tumaas din yung inyong dividends. No. Dapat we should maintain or to establish first, no, particularly for the regular dividends. Okay? So it would be better to establish a regular low dividends muna. Okay. So very important also are the relevant dates, no, associated with dividends. There are as follows. Number one, very important is your declaration date. Okay? So ano bang ibig sabihin ng declaration date? Ito yung date on which the BOD or the Board of Directors declare the dividends. Go back to your accounting one. 'Di ba? This is the time wherein there would be a legal liability of the firm. Pag ikaw ay nag-declare ng dividends on the date of declaration, the payment of the dividends becomes a legal liability of the firm. Okay? You have also here what you call date of record, the date wherein upon which the stockholders is entitled to receive the dividend. Kung sino man yung nakalista, sila lang yung mag-receive ng dividends. And also the date of payment, the date wherein the company distributes its dividends checks to its stockholders, no? And that would be your date of payment kung kailan ka magbabayad. Okay? And also very important here, no, to know, no, that the dividends are paid usually in cash. Okay, and a cash dividend is typically expressed in a peso or per share. All right. However, the dividend on a preference stocks is sometimes expressed as a percentage. How do we do that? No, halimbawa, on November 15, 2015, a cash dividend of 1.50 per share was declared on 10,000 shares of 10 pesos par value common stocks. Di ba? Pag just multiply lang, no, ng 10,000 by 150, and that would be your dividends. So magkano babayaran natin? 15,000. Okay? How about if it is preferred stocks? 'Di ba? Pag preferred, there would be a percentage, no? So Jones Corporation has 20,000 shares of 10 pesos par value and the 12% preferred stock outstanding. So on October 15, 2015, a cash dividend was declared and the holders of record as of December 15, 2015. Magkano lahat yung binayaran sa kanya? 20,000 times 10 pesos par value times 12%. So ang binayaran ng dividends ay 24,000. Okay? And that would be your total dividends. Okay? Diba? Madali lang naman siya on how to compute for your dividends. Okay. So, however, some companies allow the stockholders to reinvest, no, or automatically reinvest their dividends, no, in the corporate shares instead of receiving our cash. So, ibig sabihin, instead of giving cash, no, okay lang ba na i-invest na lang natin? Alright, so what would be the advantage, no, if mayroon kang chance, no, to reinvest? So the advantage of the stockholders that he or she avoid the brokerage fee. Iyan naman ang okay na okay, no? Kasi class, medyo malaki yan, no? The flotation cost, the underpricing cost, the brokerage fee associated with sorry, flotation cost, underpricing cost is more on selling. But if you buy, it is more on brokerage fee. However, there is no tax advantage since the stockholders must still pay for the income taxes. Okay? On the dividend received. Di ba? Go back to your accounting one, kailangan ka magbayad ng dividends. Okay? Sorry, ng taxes. Alright. Also, very important is your role, no, as financial management. Since this is a financial management, ano ba yung role natin, no? Particularly if you are a financial manager. A finance manager, objective for the company's dividend is to maximize the owner's wealth. Okay? So while providing adequate financing, particularly for the company, 'di ba? Ang goal natin is that uh, to have or to maximize our shareholders' wealth. When a company's earning increase, management does not automatically raise the dividends. Alright, so generally, please take note, no? There is a time lag between increased earnings and the payment of the higher dividends. Hindi ibig sabihin na tumaas na yung benta mo, magbabayad ka na ng malaking dividend. Hindi ganun, ha? Okay. Only when the management is confident that the increased earnings will be sustained, they will be an increase in your dividend. Pagkaya na ng business. Bakit class? Please take note of the last bullet. Once the dividends are increased, they should continue to be paid at the higher rate. Hindi mo na pwedeng babaan pa. Ano ko sayang, 'di ba? Siyempre yung investor mo ay magagalit sa inyo. Okay? Mataas na yung binabayad sa akin, ngayon binaba, 'di ba? Okay. So, meaning to say, no, very important also, no, yung mga consideration particularly for the dividend policy. So, various types of dividend policies are stable dividend per share policy. We have a constant dividend payout or the dividend per share, earnings per share. We have also here compromise and the residual dividend policy. Sige, we go one by one, no? So, ano ba yung stable dividend? So, you just give dividend na stable. Pag stable ka lang, that's the point that you will be able to have or to pay your dividends, no? You have also here constant dividend payout, no? So, dividend per share divided by earnings per share. Or you have compromise. Saka na tayo mag ano ng dividend since pandemic naman, di ba? And also we have our residual dividend policy. Okay. Oh, very important also, class, that in terms of your dividend, now we go one by one. Theoretically, the company should obtain retained earnings rather than distribute them when the corporate return exceeds the investors can obtain the money elsewhere. Okay? So, mas maganda pa daw na mag-retain ka ng earnings bago ka magbigay ng dividends. Further, if the company obtained a return on its profit that will exceed the cost of capital, the market price of the stocks will be maximized. And very important here, yung tinatawag nating capital gains. No? Please take note of this. Hindi required sa business na magbigay ng dividends. Please take note of the number 3 bullet. Capital gains arising from the appreciation of the market price has the advantage over the dividends. Yan ang pinaka-goal ng ating corporation. Hindi ang dividends. Ang goal natin is tumaas ang stock price, tumaas ang market price. It will capital gains arising from the appreciation of the market price. Alright, please take note, ha? Okay? On the other hand, company should not theoretically keep the funds for investment if it will earn less than a return that the investors can earn elsewhere. Huwag kang magbigay ng mas maliit, no? Na pwede naman niyang kitain sa iba, lalo na sa labas. Okay? Yan yung ibig sabihin niya. Okay? If the owner have a better investment policies outside the firm, alright, the company should pay high dividends. If there would be, what do you call that, investment opportunities elsewhere, no? Although theoretical considerations, please take note, especially about the financial point, no? The view should be considered when setting up our investment or dividend policy. The practicality of the situations that investors expect to pay dividends. No? Again, ang goal natin ay hindi ang dividends sa panag-invest ang isang company, but ang goal naman natin is to the stock appreciation. Okay? Ibig sabihin, tumaas at ang ating stocks. Alright, so that would be our goal. No? So, ano yung mga other factors, no, particularly for your dividends, no? Very important here is the company's growth rate. If there would be covenants, no, very important here is the covenants, the profitability, ito yung mga, siyempre kung may profit ka, magbigay ka ng dividends, no? So, yun yung mga factors. Alright? You have also here earnings stability, stable ba yung company natin? Baka kasi hindi naman is stable. Okay? Maintenance of control also very important. Ability or degree of financial leverage, utang yan, ha? The leverage is utang, no? Alright? And also about uncertainty, no? So, uncertain ba yung ating company? Age and size. And also about the tax penalties. Dati, class, may tinatawag tayong improperly accumulated earnings tax. Ngayon, wala na daw, no? Because of the create law, no? Na tinatawag. Okay. Very important also, yung tinatawag nating stock dividends. Okay? So, ano yung mga stock dividends na tinatawag, no? Stock dividends is the issuance of additional shares of your stockholders. Okay? So, meaning to say, stock dividends may be declared when the cash position of the firm is inadequate, no? So may mga time meron din tayong computations, no? Particularly for the dividends, no? So, meaning to say, uh, a stock dividends may be declared when the cash position of the firm is inadequate. So, kung nakulangan tayo ng pera, pwede tayo magbigay ng dividends through stocks. When stock dividends, retained earnings decrease but the common stock and paid in capital will increase. Please take note of this. When there would be stock dividends, retained earnings, or the stockholders' equity will remain the same. No change. Okay? Stock dividends increase the shares held, but the proportion of the company's stockholders' equity sorry own remain the same. Okay? So hindi magbabago. Okay? In other words, if you have 2% ownership, 2% pa rin yan kahit meron tayong stock dividends, no? So please take note of that one, class. Okay? Alright. So may sample at ako dito. Sample, no? Particularly for this. Halimbawa is that Mr. James owns 200 shares Newland Corporation. Alright? So there are 10,000 shares, no? Therefore, Mr. James hold a 2%. The company issues a dividend of 10%. Alright, so paano pa ganun, no? Alright, James will then have 220 out of 11,000. If you notice, you have still 2% shares. Hindi magbabago ang ownership mo if there would be a stock dividend or yes, stock dividends, no? So, yan. We have also your stock split, no? Ano naman yung mga stock split na tinatawag natin, no? So, stock split issues, no? Particularly for substantial amount. Alright, so particularly for shares and reducing also our fair value, no? So, yan yung mga sample natin. Alright, so particularly for stock split, no? Also, very important, class, no? That in terms of your stock split is often prompted to desire to reduce the market price per share, no? Yan pala ang reason kung bakit may stock split. We want to reduce our market price para madaming makabili. Alright? It is easier for the small investors to purchase. Example, Smith Corporation has 1,000 shares par value. Alright? Common stock outstanding. And because of that, there would be a 4 to 1 stock split. Okay? There would be 4 to 1 stock split. So after the split, 4,000 shares at 5 pesos. Alright? So at 5 pesos will be outstanding, no? So magkano na, class, yung ating par value for that, no? Alright? The total par value will remain at 20,000. Wala naman nagbago, no? So ano ba nagbago? Ang nagbago lang naman ay yung ating shares tumaas and also the par value. If you notice, class, wala naman nagbago, no? Kaya with this, no, as part of that, theoretically the market price per share should drop to 1/4, no? So yan, okay? So before the 2 to 1 stock split. Okay? So parehas, class, yan sa stock dividends na walang nagbabago. Okay? Especially about your stockholders equity. That's why stock split and stock dividends, no? The difference here is that with the stock dividend, retained earnings are reduced and there is a pro rata distribution shares to stockholders. A stock split increases naman the shares outstanding but does not lower your retained earnings. So, yun yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa, no? Number 2, the par value of the stock remain the same with the stock dividends. Alright? But is proportionally reduced, no, sa ating stock split. Pero, class, if you notice, parehas sila, cash is not paid. Okay? Ano pa? Shares outstanding will not increase. And please take note also, class, that stockholders' equity will remain the same. Hindi magbabago ang stockholders' equity. Alright. So, also class, very important here, yung tinatawag nating stock repurchase. Okay? Ano naman yung ibig sabihin ng stock repurchase? Yung ating walang kamatayang treasury shares or treasury stocks. So, what is treasury stock? Is this the name given to the previously issued stock that has been purchased by the company? Issued and issued and previously issued and then you purchase, no? So yan ang ibig sabihin, class, no, ng ating treasury, no? Treasury stocks. Okay. Buying treasury shares is an alternative daw, no? Alternative daw siya sa pagbabayad ng dividends, no? Since dividends shares will be fewer after stocks has been repurchased. Ito pa yung class ang reason, no? Ang isa pa sa reason is that if you notice, no, bababa daw ang ating, sorry, tataas naman yung ating market price. No, if you notice, no, tataas yung ating market price. Alright, earnings per share will rise. The increase in your retained earnings, if you notice, ano sinabi? It will result in the higher market price. As discussed kanina, no? It will increase our market price. Alright, so may sample ako dito, class, no? So, ano yung mga sample natin? Okay? So, sample natin is that Travis Company uh, earned 2.5 million, no? Particularly for 2015, no? Of this amount, it decided to have a 20% would be used to purchase your treasury shares. All right. So, with that, at present there are 400,000 shares, no, outstanding, and the market price, if you notice, is at 18 pesos, no. Because of this, the company can use 500,000, 20% times 2.5 to buy back the 25,000 shares. Class, magkano yung current EPS natin? Net income of 2.5 divided by 400,000, you have 6.25. Magkano yung current earnings natin? Our current earnings natin ay market per share 18 pesos divided by 6.25. You have 2.88. Magkano na yung EPS after the repurchase? 2.5 divided by 375. You have 6.67. Magkano dati? 6.25. Tumaas ba yung EPS natin? Yes. How about your market price? The expected market price, assuming that the PE ratio remained the same, PE multiple times new EPS, expected market price, just have the PE ratio. 2.88, that would be the current PE. Just multiply it by 6.67. Magkano na yung ating market price? 19.21. Magkano dati ang market price? 18. Ngayon ay 19.21. Tumaas ba? Yes. Yan ang reason kung bakit mayroon tayong treasury shares. Okay. Di ba? Bago na naman yan na learnings natin, no? Pag may repurchase, tataas yung market price para at least gumanda, no, ang ating company. Okay. So, stock repurchase. So, ano yung mga sample ng stock repurchase? So, if to the company, no, the advantage from the stock repurchase include the following. If there would be excess cash flow that is deemed temporary, management may prefer to repurchase our stocks than to pay a higher dividend. If there would be excess cash na temporary. Alright? Treasury shares or treasury stock can be used, alright, for future acquisition or for the use as a basis uh, for your stock options. Okay? Also, class, very important here, if the management is holding your stock, they would favor a stock repurchase rather than your dividend because of the favorable tax treatment, no? Yan. So, may tinatawag tayong tax treatment. Treasury stock can be sold in the market if the additional funds are needed. Alright. And also, very important here, no? Ito yung mga advantage natin, no? Kaya lang, ano naman yung mga disadvantage? Okay? Uh, the market price, di ba kanina sabi ko, the reason why there would be a stock repurchase kasi gusto nilang taasan yung market price. Alam nyo ba, class, pag nalaman niya ng investors natin, at anong mangyayari? Pag nalaman niya ng investors natin, alright, a high price, no, to the detriment of the stockholders, a higher price may occur or limited no amount of reacquired, no, to the management. So ano yung disadvantage natin? If the investors feel that the company is engaging, particularly for the repurchase plan, because management does not have alternative good investment, nako, a drop of the market price may ensue. Okay? If the reacquisition of the stock makes it appear that the company is manipulating, yan ang masaklap, class, no? The company will have a problem with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay? So, yan ang masaklap dyan, class. Baka mawalan pa tayo, no? Particularly for that, no? Alright? Uh, Further, as discussed last time, no? There would be what you call the improperly accumulated earnings tax. But kan wala na, no? Because of the create law. Okay? Yan. So, meaning to say, dapat nasa legal lang tayo. Alright? Nasa legal lang tayo. Particularly for our dividend policy. So, I believe this is my last slide. And I hope that you learned a lot, no, for this dividend policy. So again, thank you very much and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.